So if I may show my screen, just share it. So I think it's coming up. Yeah, so so on our folder, I think this is what I'm showing here. We have we already covered 5A, which is self-organizing maps. So today we wanted to deal with the vector semantics. Basically, this is a text analytics. So now we don't deal with the data as data, numbers, and so on as such. We deal with the text. So text analytics, and one of the things that we normally do with this is, of course, as you know, is to convert it into vectors so that we can be able to analyze those vectors. So we shall open that folder 6A, and maybe you've not done natural language processing, so I'll just introduce you to it quickly. So there's a PowerPoint slide there for NLP basics. So I'll open that NLP basics. So it's opening up here slowly. And I didn't go to everything because I thought what is important for us, what's important for us is maybe the structured analysis, because we are interested with the, of course, we're interested with the morphology, which is the rules that govern the word formation. But more importantly, we are interested with the, what you call the structure analysis. Yeah. But let's get into it. So this is the big picture here. That, of course, we are dealing with the linguistics. Linguistics is where a natural language processing links with the study of languages. So it's at the linguistics level. So linguistics basically will be divided into, let's say, three main topics or three main major topics. And the first one, as you can see there on your diagram, is the sound of language. The way I'm speaking, the way you speak, the way anybody speaks within a certain language, it's an important thing that is studied. And that is again divided into two. That is called phonetics and phonology. So phonetics is basically the study of production of speech sounds. So how do you produce? So in other words, in phonetics, what you're trying to answer is, how do you produce sound? Like you can have various sounds. And you know the way you write is not the same way we pronounce. I hope you know that by now. But also the way you produce the sounds is very unique. Some people are not able to produce sounds compared to other people in different communities. It's because of the way they learned their phonetics when they were young. Like, for example, the word, okay, there are many, there's actually a dictionary for that. And no, I don't have the details here because I normally teach this unit and I have a lot of details. But in terms of, for example, the way you produce various sounds, like we say the word P. P, you have to close your lips. P. So when you say T, is the same thing, but now you have to open your lips. So you say T. So It is the way sounds are produced by you. So there are various vowels that you have, etc. So just understand that it's the way your body produces those sounds. And it is important for us to understand phonetics because if in AI we are trying to reproduce sound, let's say like a written speech, it would be important for us to understand how it is produced. Now we come to phonology. So phonology is basically the study of sound patterns that occur within a language. Now, I know you've learned ABCD. Of course, all of you did that, the alphabet. But nowadays, there's something else they are learning, the sounds of letters and the sounds they make. I don't know whether you guys went through that system. Like, for example, B produces the sound ba. So B is ba, C is ka, and so on. But that's just at the sound level. I mean, that's at the alphabet levels, rather. But phonology goes beyond the alphabet level, and it goes to what we call the sound patterns of a language. So you discover that the way you write is not the way again you pronounce things. And I give the example of the word boy. Boy has got three characters, B or Y, but it has only two patterns in it, which are produced uniquely. So there's the word bu and there's the word oi. So bu and oi becomes boy. Of course, for languages that, for example, in our African languages like Swahili, it's very easy to, the way you write is also the same way you sort of pronounce. Like you say na is n followed by a, ma, ba, like that. So, so in Swahili, the entire na would be part of your phonology because you represent that sound. So there is also a dictionary for that, and you can look for the phonological dictionary from the internet if you're interested. So that's about sounds. Now we go to text and other things. And text has got two main things here: grammar and there is meaning. So grammar is what people call syntax, and meaning is what people call semantics. But looking at it widely, grammar has got two types of grammars. I know you know the one of sentences, sentence level grammar. The one of saying I am a boy, where you have a noun, I mean a noun like I or a pronoun, followed by a verb, followed by maybe another noun or something like that. So that is at the syntax or the phrase level, and we call it the syntax. But we also have it at a finer level called the morphology. And morphology is the analysis of the word structure. So um, the way you basically write a word. So a word basically has got a root. I hope you know that by now. That root, then you can be able to add things to it. You can be able to add things to it. Just a second, I see whether I can get something here. Yes, sorry. Um, so the idea that we have is that we have structure, grammar at the sentence level and also at the word level. So like a word I've already told you, it has got a root, and then you add things. So these things, they could be suffixes, things that you put in front. And there are, prefixes are put at the front, and the suffixes are put at the end. So sometimes you also have things that you put in the middle, but it's not very common. But in some languages do have that, and they are called infixes. So I think you all know this morphology. Um, like for example, you can say kimbia. So you can say kukimbia. Ku becomes a prefix, kukimbia. So the root was kimbi. Then of course at the end there you can have a kimbi. You can add a like kimbi a, kimbi za. So those things that you add at the end, um, they are the suffixes. So you can form many words from one root. So it's important we understand this because now when we go to the analytics, then we shall be able to know what we're analyzing. So if it's a word, then we need to do what you call, from the normal word, the way you write a word, let's say like running. We need to be able to strip it to its root. So run. Then we can add runner, running, and all that, or runners and so on. So it's good you understand that morphology. The syntax, of course, as you know, is the grammar rules like I told earlier. You have a sentence can be made up of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Like for example, John ate a big pie hurriedly. So John of course is a noun. Ate is a verb. Then big pie is another noun. Hurriedly is describing how you ate. So it becomes an adverb and so on. So these are things that you learned in your lower levels. So adjectives and adverbs. Then the meaning would be now, of course, the semantics, the meaning of a word. So how do you give a word a meaning? Or how do you give a phrase a meaning? And how do you give a sentence a meaning? How can the computer recognize that meaning? Now that's the objective of this. How can the computer, so we are not saying recognizing a word. We are saying recognizing the meaning. So when I say boy, of course, that's a word, and I can recognize a word boy. But do I know what's a boy? Of course, a boy has got many significances. Uh, he's a male, he's young, and so on and so on. So we need to get all that meaning, and we need to know how to represent meanings in the computers. And then finally, we have something very important called pragmatics, and this is the hidden meaning. This is the hidden meaning. So if I told you, for example, Zakayo was at the general's burial. Now, what did I say? Zakayo was at the general's burial. So who is Zakayo anyway? So you may want to look at the context of how that word has been used in Kenya, Zakayo. So the context is very important. You might find that where the word Zakayo has been used, maybe also Ruto has also been used. The President Ruto has been used there. So if I say general's burial, you want to know who died, because burial means somebody has died recently. So the only general who has died in Kenya, for example, is General Gola. So it's about, so pragmatics is about getting the hidden meanings, and we get this from the context. We get this from the context, and there are many things that you learn there. Like for example, there is something we call rhetoric, or there's something where you can call even like pronouns. For example, I can say we can say he doesn't like mango juice. Now, who is that who doesn't like mango juice? You don't know, because you don't know the pronoun is he is representing who. But if I had said that, for example, somebody of let me just use a word here, like I say, Kamau of let's say which place, Kamau of the DIA class, University of Nairobi, BSc Computer Science, came to school early. Then I say he doesn't like mango juice. So now already you know I'm referring to somebody I've just described up there. So in other words, this is the whole picture of linguistics. Now, is it clear to everybody the whole language of linguistics and how natural language processing comes in together with the languages? Is it clear now? Just looking at this diagram only, it gives you the whole picture. Is it clear, or there's one that you like me to explain further? Are you still clear together?
Deeply express my concern.
Yes, it's clear.
And my disappointment.
Very good,
by
it's clear.
the
So if somebody
of
talks of phonetics, phonology,
by the
morphology,
University of
syntax,
Nairobi
semantics, pragmatics,
the current set of
just
these
remember that's what he
facilities are
said.
not
Now,
comparing to the well-being and the safety of students.
just a few slides here, but they're just
also not
describing what I've just described in very many words.
reflect the poor conditions of the
Morphology is
institution's
analysis of the
management.
word structure.
It's very unacceptable
Syntax
to the
is analysis of
students
sentence
being
structure.
subject to the filthy and sanitary
And
living
knowledge
conditions, which includes
of
inadequate
language shall
sanitation,
consist,
pure hygiene standards, and
number one,
dilapidated infrastructure.
a
I
finite
urge
number
the
of words,
University
which
of
we
Nairobi
normally call the
management to
lexicon.
take immediate and
This is what you
decisive
can find
action
in the
to
dictionary.
address these pressing issues.
And then number
the
two,
are experiencing
some
a very great
some
problem in terms
grammar.
of
So it could be grammar
the
working
drainage
at
conditions.
the
Their rooms are
word
leaking
level,
from the roofs, and
or
we
the grammar
find
working at the sentence level. Maybe there's something else I did not say. There's a third grammar. So I say the first grammar, of course, is at the word. The second grammar is at the sentence, and you can also say phrase if you want. That's one thing. Phrase and sentence is more or less, they use the same language or syntax. But there's another third one. It is called transformation grammar. It's a third one. I've not included it here, but it's also important you understand it. Now, transformation. What are you transforming from what to what? I remember in your school there was something we were calling active and passive. I don't know that you remember that. Passive grammar and active grammar. Like, for example, you could say, John kicked the ball. Or I can also say, the ball was kicked by John. Now, which one is active and which one is passive? Active grammar is which one? John kicked the ball, or the ball was kicked by John?
John kicked the ball.
Exactly. John kicked the ball is what you call active grammar. And we always start with who is doing the doer of the action, isn't it? Like John is now who is doing the action. Then you go to what the action was done. Okay. So there are rules that can help you to convert passive, active rather, into passive, and vice versa. So active into passive and passive into active. So that's also a third level of grammar. So you can add it there on your notes if you want. Oh yeah, I have included it there. Sorry, I did not even know it's there. It's there. So it's down there in the third brief. There are morphological rules, phrase structure rules, and then there's transformation rules. Yes, it's there. Of course, grammar is studied through what you call phrase structure rules, because you are trying to look at the structures. And the most common of these structure rules is called the context-free grammar. Now, context-free means it doesn't matter what you're talking about, but the rules of the grammar will always hold. Like if I now say, John kicked the ball. Now, the grammar there I'm using is, John, of course, is a noun. So noun, kicked is a verb. So noun, verb, the ball is a verb. I mean, is a noun. So noun, verb, noun. So I can apply it in any other thing, even if I don't know what there is. I can say, John ate the ball. So it might not make sense, but it is still grammatically correct. So that is what you call the context-free grammar. The only trouble is you need to add that extra level over the meaning. And the context-free grammars, usually they are written as a set of rules, like what we saw in a second year rules. Like the one I've just said there, that a sentence is equal to noun plus verb plus noun. Of course, they consist of a terminal symbol, which are the characters of the alphabet that appear in the strings generated by the grammar. In other words, like the words I'm using now, John kicks the ball. Those are the terminal symbols. Then there is the non-terminal symbols, which are just placeholders, the rules themselves and symbols. So let's see an example here so that we know we can have a concrete thing. So you have something like this. The sentence level implies the noun phrase, verb phrase. Now you notice that instead of using the word noun or just the word
Eric because I knew him.
we prefer using
like,
the phrase because
just let them say to
like
United.
now the one I've
We
just said,
spoke with Fergie. We're like, I'm going to United.
John
I don't want to nothing. I just want to go and say, okay, just have
so
the meeting.
The pie
just
are
let
two
them
words,
say what they want to say,
pie,
and
so
we will
it
go.
becomes a phrase.
So and
it's a phrase of
that's
the
why I didn't want to speak with
noun.
Eric because I knew
So it
him.
becomes a
And I was
noun
like,
phrase. The pie
I know
becomes
that
a noun phrase.
at the time it was always a conversation like, Andreas,
All right.
stay here. You're not gonna play every game. You're gonna play
now
maybe
another
one
beauty
game
of
and every 3
these
games, and you're gonna be around in the squad. And
context-free
that's not
grammar
what I wanted. Really, I wanted
is
to
that
play.
they can be
You just
expressed
mentioned,
using
sorry, Alex, I'll
what
go
you
back
call
to that. What was it like meeting
context-free
him as a
grammar.
young kid, 16 years old? Imagine 16 years
Context-free
old,
grammar.
going with your dad to meet someone like Sir Alex
sorry.
Ferguson. He wants you to come to
Another
their
beauty
club.
of
And
context-free
what kind of things
grammar
does
is
he
that
like?
they can be expressed using regular expressions.
No. I arrived in January.
I think this one you meet it when you're dealing with the automata theory,
stayed, and then
which I don't
the
know.
year after.
I don't think you've done that
When we
yet.
drew, you mean?
Yeah.
But even if you have done it
just to set
or
the
you've not
scene
done
for
it,
people
the
watching,
only thing we're talking about
you
here is
played
that
very
you
well
can have
in a tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, and that
expressions that you can that
that's where
always
he got
occur.
scouted. So
In the United Cup.
So regular
There's so many
expressions.
players come through that. The Silver
And there's
Twins
some
come through
languages
that as
that
well.
I think there are some
loads of
tools
that.
that
It's
can
good,
handle
man.
these regular
Okay.
expressions
So
very
and
well.
so
like,
then
for example,
from then on,
natural language
was it straight
is a
Fergie, or did they
tool
send someone up, Sir Alex, or did they
that
send
can
someone
handle
else?
these
Or
regular
No,
expressions
they
very
sent
well.
first.
And
They sent the scout is
it's
Jeff Watson.
it's done
He
using
was working,
Python,
so he got in
it's
contact
easy.
with my dad, and he said, we're interested. And at the
Now,
time,
for those who forgot
I
your
had a
Form
few interests
2
from other
grammar,
clubs in Europe, and I was like,
these were some
but
of
I
the word
was always
categories
a fan
or
of
syntactic
United
categories. There's a
and
noun,
Ronaldo. So I was like, I want to go to
there's a
United.
verb. A noun, of course, is an
And when
object
it
or
happened,
something.
and it was
A verb
fast,
is an
it was
action.
like we finished the tournament,
There's an
and they
adjective.
already started to speak with my
An
dad.
adjective
We should
is,
come and visit the training
of course, there's a
ground, see how it
preposition
is.
and an adverb.
And when I
An
went to visit the
adjective
training ground, they didn't even
describes the
say
what?
you're gonna meet Fergie or
The
anyone.
noun, isn't it?
So I arrived. I remember walking
adverb
in Carrington, and I was like, I
describes
want to come, and I
the
want
verb.
to go. Amazing, complex.
So
And
adverb
then
is like
we saw, and then he said, someone wants to meet you, and it was
eat
Fergie.
hurriedly. So that hurriedly.
I just remember just
an adverb.
him standing in front. I was like,
Right.
I cannot believe it.
Then you
My
have
dad, I
prepositions.
see first time my dad was like
Prepositions.
standing. He didn't
These
know
ones
what
you did
to
them,
do.
and I know you did
And
maybe like
I
your
just
English
and he
teacher
told
so
me
much.
first
But
he
he taught
said
you things
something and I
like,
didn't understand it because his
The
English is not
bottle is
really
on the table.
like.
So that
And
on
then
the
after
table.
that,
On
he
is a
said
preposition.
there's always a room
You
for
can
a
say
Brazilian in my
under
team.
the table. Under
And that stayed
is
with
a
me in my
preposition.
head. I
So-
was
so
like, I didn't even want to go
these
back
are
home. I
lexical
wanted to
categories,
stay
as we
there
call them.
straight away.
Wow.
Then we have
That's
non-lexical.
Do you know, like young players, obviously,
Meaning
you go and
that they
work
don't
with
have
Sir Alex
specific
Ferguson and you're there.
meanings.
You obviously seen a lot of young
like
players. Everyone's
determinants.
going, oh, he's going to be a
Determinants
great
are things
player,
like
then they
the
fall off.
word
What are the biggest
they.
problems for the young players coming through?
It's a
And how
determinant.
should they go around kind of staying clear
You
of
have
those?
degree. I think we have
I think
examples
it's
here.
mentally, you
here.
know, mentally is a
We
big
call it
problem.
easy.
I think when you make your first game and
So
the first
example
game,
of
everyone
a
is
determiner
positive,
is
you can have
the
you know, a good game or a okay game. Everyone will say you're doing well or
this
amazing.
etc.
I think after
Then
15,
there's a
20
degree.
games in, it's when reality starts
So you
to
can
kick
say,
in.
I
And
like you
everyone's like,
very,
he's
very
not
much.
really that good, you know.
So
I
that
think he's
very,
shit,
very,
and
very,
people
very,
saying he's
very
this
much
and that. So
is
that's
a
where
degree.
you
It's
have to
showing
keep
how much
strong.
I
You
like,
know,
I like you.
sometimes it's like you said,
And there's
you're
more.
not in the
So
right
there are
time in the right
qualifiers
club.
like
Some things cannot,
always.
you
He
know,
always
go
comes
well for
late.
you. It doesn't mean you're a shit player.
Perhaps he might come
So
tomorrow.
I've seen it, you know, with
So these are
a lot of
qualifiers.
players
Perhaps
at
shows that
United,
you're not
you know,
very
big names that
certain.
come and they don't
Then there's the
really,
auxiliary
really
verbs.
play
These are
good.
very
So
important.
You got any names like
Like
who
is
you're
very
really
important.
surprised
John
by?
is
Like you
coming.
think, oh, I expect you to be
Is exactly a
amazing, but
verb.
it just
It's called
didn't work.
auxiliary verb.
for
Right,
me, yeah,
can.
for me, Di
So you
Maria
can say
when he
John
arrived from you know the
can do
first
this.
session he
So
did, it
can
was
do this. Can.
unbelievable.
Show
Was
it.
it?
Like
I
It's a
heard
verb.
that.
he arrived from
Then you have
the
conjunction,
Champions League final,
like
being
and,
the best player.
or,
Yes.
and so on.
He did the first session,
So
and he
these are
was
basically the
everyone. Seriously, everyone said like we're gonna win the
syntactic
league.
categories
Like,
Wow.
this guy's
divided into lexical and non-lexical.
and you know
We did- we
the
did, didn't we?
Leicester goal, the Leicester goal.
No, here of
Oh,
course you
the
can
dink. Yeah.
When
jog
you
your
did the
mind a
dink
bit.
and the
You can
heart
indicate
after,
the
we were like,
categories
oh,
of each one.
and then it
The
was,
glass
it didn't know what
suddenly
happened.
broke.
You know, it was crazy. He didn't
The
adapt.
glass.
Then the thing happened with his family.
Family,
and
yeah.
I think
Let's
this
start
has
with the.
you know,
The is
big
of course
thing
a
to do,
determiner.
and you know, I
Glass
saw
is a
like how
noun.
this kind of
Suddenly
player cannot
is
play
what?
in United. So the pressure is there. You know, it's
You're
it's
just in it
difficult to
up
play
there.
for United to wear the 7. It's difficult. Yeah.
Where does
Talk,
it belong?
talk about that pressure. I always say this. to
Yeah,
the
I was
guys,
gonna say,
like,
he always says to me,
like you've been at a lot of clubs,
Yeah.
so you would understand like the difference in levels of pressure. Like where huh?
the question I was going
Is
for.
it?
I was literally.
But what is
Exactly,
that?
it's
What
an
is that?
adverb
What's,
because
what,
it's
why
showing
is
you
it
how the-
different pressure at Man United?
How
What's
the
it boiled
action
down
of
to?
breaking occurred.
I think the pressure
So
at
it
United
occurred
is
suddenly. So
of course
it's an adverb.
one of the biggest
Yeah,
clubs in the
correct.
world. You have to win.
Then you have broke,
even
which is of
now
course the verb.
such a long period didn't win the Premier
But we are
League. Everyone
saying
expects
the
to win the
glass
Premier
now
League. Everyone
can be
expects
formed
to
into one,
challenge to win
The
the Champions
glass
League. If you're playing it, you have to
becomes
win it.
a
So
noun
I think
phrase.
there is a
A
pressure,
noun phrase.
and I think
Then you can say
you
suddenly
know,
broke.
of course the pressure is there because
Now,
you
this is a
guys
phrase,
set the standard so high. You know,
And
you
you can
guys
see
won
broke is a
Champions League.
verb.
Win
So we call it a what?
all the
A
trophies in
verb
the Premier League so
phrase.
many times and make it look easy. So I think there is the
verb
pressure.
phrase,
Like
because
we have to
is
do
a
at
phrase
least the same or
describing
even
the
better.
verb, or is
and
is
that's
about the
very
verb.
very difficult. You know.
So you can go all the way
You
up
see
to
the big
D.
players like Di Maria, who
That's
everywhere
what
he's
he
been
did
doing
in
brilliant.
Form 1 and
Successful.
2.
Only United, he hasn't been like the player we imagine.
Not on his own, no. There's a
Of
there's a
course,
hell
yeah,
There's a
I've
lot
given
of
you the
Carlos,
answers that
Falcao,
everyone just
yeah.
took several.
Oh,
Alexis
Falcao.
Sanchez.
Oh.
Sanchez, well, yeah, Sanchez come from your club. He was brilliant.
At the phrase
you know,
level,
didn't work out.
That's it. You go to a big club, sometimes it's just different.
Did you?
Was he there with
sorry, at the
Lukaku?
phrase
Yeah, I
level,
was there
you
with
can
Lukaku.
say
Not
the
even
car.
Lukaku.
This is a
No,
noun
but
phrase.
he
The
scored goals
car.
with Lukaku.
But
Scored
he
goals.
started
clever
really
student,
well,
Yeah.
and then
that's a
after
noun
that
phrase.
he faded a little
was after
bit.
the World Cup.
A verb phrase would be like
it's
study
difficult,
hard.
you know.
So what would you say
Play
the
the
difficulty
guitar.
is? Because, like I said, Rio always says to me,
Preposition
it's different. It's different
in
playing for
the
United,
class,
and
so
sometimes I'm
in.
like, but hearing you,
Above.
I believe you more than
So
I
above
believe
is a preposition. An adjective,
Hearing you,
of
what
course,
is
is
it with
very
these
tall. You're
players?
just
Falcao,
describing
you know, Lukaku. Yes, he scored
something.
goals. It went
So
a
the
bit.
boy is very
What
tall.
is it? Is it the press?
I'm quite certain. John comes early. So you're describing that. So you can combine this into rules, like you can see here, and this is now what I was talking about, context-free grammar. Like here is the word the bus, and I can say the bus in the yard. So of course these are two phrases. The first one is just a noun phrase, which is showing the bus. Also the second one is also another noun phrase saying the bus in the yard. These are noun phrases. So you can use the same context-free grammar. Then the phrase structure rules or verb phrases. You can be able to show something like this. Verb phrase is equal to a verb Like what you have here, a verb plus a noun phrase. So this becomes what now? Verb plus a noun phrase. Took the money. So of course, the debate here is are we talking about the money, or are you talking about an action? So took the money, we are talking about the action of taking. So what did he take? The money. Took the money from the bank is another verb phrase. You can see that. Took the money from the bank. Now you can, of course, exercise your knowledge here. Draw the tree bank for these phrases. Repaired the telephone. So the answers are there. You can see them. And other examples here. The old tree swayed in the wind. And you can see how we are dealing with the context-free grammar there. The children put the toy in the box. It's another example. But one interesting thing is that this, as I told you, the meaning needs to be taken care of. As you can see here, for example, this one you have syntax or synthetic buffalo hides. Now, synthetic buffalo hides. If you are processing this through your computer, it can produce some interesting results. Like the first one here is saying, synthetic buffalo hides. So it's saying that the buffalo hides are synthetic. So buffalo hides that are synthetic. But what about on the right? Here it is saying synthetic buffalo hides. Hide, either kujificha, hiding. Or even the one of hides. So synthetic buffalo hides. So it means there are some buffaloes that are synthetic, which I don't think is the case. So what's on the right is, of course, categorically wrong, because you can't have synthetic buffaloes. You can't have that. Buffaloes have to be real. So disambiguation is another issue, big issue in natural language processing. Disambiguation. You can see the reason for disambiguation. Yeah, because once you have the rules, they can produce some weird things. And sometimes they can bring very humorous results, like this one here. For sale, an antique desk suitable for a lady with thick legs and large drawers. Now the question is, who has the thick legs? An antique dress suitable for a lady with thick legs and large drawers. So it might mean that the lady is the one who has thick legs and large drawers, which of course is not the case. So I think that is enough of NLP. It was just a quick intro of NLP. And I wanted now to get, is there any question on NLP, or now I go to the applications? Any questions? Maybe if we get them later, you can alert me. But still going back to our 6A, our folder 6A vector semantics. We need to maybe start understanding these things slowly by slowly. And we could open maybe a step-by-step tutorial. I don't know, there's that one. Yeah, let's open that one and see what it has for us. I didn't label them. That was bad on me. But let's just open them here. No, this one written there, basic beginner's guide. I think that's where you should begin, because we are beginners. We can't still do in analysis of a kind. But I don't know that this will be suitable for you. Let me just check. Yeah, I think we can start there. Text analytics basics. So that would be which folder? Let me check for you. So it could be from the bottom, could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth from the bottom. Text analytics begin. text analytics basics, a beginner's guide. So this tutorial, I got it from, it's actually a set of notes. I got it from these guys who do there's something called monkey survey. Monkey survey. They are very good in this kind of work. So I thought I read it and it was easy for you guys to understand. So I picked it. So maybe I'll go through not everything, but through the most important things. And since we are now getting into text analytics, now that we already have an introduction to natural language processing, we want to understand this text analytics. So we are saying it is the automated process of translating large volumes of unstructured text into quantitative data to uncover insights, trends, and patterns. Now, notice that we are starting with the large volumes of unstructured text. Large volumes of unstructured text. And then we want to convert it into quantitative data. Now, that's another important second point. We want to convert it into quantitative data. And I had told you at the beginning, we shall require vectors here. We shall require vectors to be able to quantify our things, quantitative data. And then, just as we had the objective in the other analytics we are dealing with, the data analytics, now the text analytics, we also want to uncover insights. We want to uncover trends and patterns and so on. We also want to be able, just like we did with the data, we also want to combine it with a bit of visualizations. We have already done this with the data. So you also want to be able to combine this with the visualizations, including these like dashboards and other visualization tools. To be able to understand a company's, what's happening behind the company there. So this technique enables companies to understand the story behind the numbers and make better conclusions. So when searching for definition of text analytics, you may have come across related concepts like text mining, text analysis. But before we go into the details, we will outline the main differences between these terms, because you might find that people who have not gone to school properly, they cannot tell the difference between these terms. But for us, we want to learn what's the difference. So text mining, text analysis, and text analytics, they are sometimes used interchangeably with the end goal of analyzing unstructured text to obtain insights. However, while text mining or text analysis provides insights of a qualitative nature, let me scroll back so that you can see this. So I'm reading this sentence. It's very important. Is it being highlighted? Not really, but just misbehaving here. Let me remove it. So it's saying that, however, while text mining or text analysis provides an insight into qualitative nature, text analytics aggregates these results and turns them into something that can be quantified and visualized through charts and reports. So note that we haven't changed the definition of analytics, because analytics, even in our earlier case, we had numbers, and those numbers, of course, they were quantifying things, and you can visualize it into charts. Whereas when you're just talking of text analysis or text mining, all we are doing is to provide the qualitative nature. Now, like a word map, like if you want to know what words occur mostly in a certain context, let's say in a book. So you take a machine learning book, which words occur mostly? So you'll find that maybe they're talking about we call it a word cloud. I don't know if you know a word cloud. Word cloud. So just shows you the occurrences of these books just by simply counting and showing how these words are occurring. So really, text analysis is just showing you the qualitative nature of it. So just quality, the qualitative. But when it deals with quantity, that is the numbers, counting. Now we talk of text analytics. So please never forget about that. Text analysis, text analytics. But they often work together. This text analysis and text analytics, they sometimes work together because we want first of all to understand the data before we can now start chunking the numbers. So the numbers, of course, will be the analytics, and the qualitative, which is the descriptive type of information, will be brought out by the text analysis. So they work together to bring out a complete understanding of all kinds of text, like emails, social media posts, surveys, customer support tickets, etc. For example, you can use text analysis tools to find out how people feel towards a brand or a social media. How do people feel about it? A feeling, a feeling. And this is a sentiment analysis. Or you or understand the main topics in a product. Understand the main topics in a product. So what do you call that one? Understanding the main topics in some product reviews. We call it topic detection. Topic detection. So sentiment analysis and topic detection, they can be categorized as text analysis. But text analytics, on the other hand, leverages the results of text analysis to identify now the patterns, such as the spikes in negative feedback, and provides you with actionable insights you can use to make improvements, like fixing a bug that's frustrating your users. So remember, the analytics about patterns. So I hope that is clear. Text analysis, text analytics. Now here's an example of how text analytics can help companies. Very briefly here we have a small story here that colossal amounts of unstructured data are generated every minute, and internet users post about 456,000 new tweets or 510,000 new comments on Facebook, and 156 million emails every minute. So managing and analyzing information to find what's relevant becomes a major challenge. So thanks to text analytics, business are able to automatically extract meaning from all sorts of unstructured data, from social media posts and emails to live chats and surveys, and turn it into quantitative insights. By identifying trends and patterns with text analytics, business can improve customer satisfaction by learning what their customers like and what they dislike about their products. Then they can detect issues, they conduct market research, and they can monitor brand reputation, and among other things. So this is quite important that you know how to use this analytics. So you can see the uses. So if you are told by somebody, highlight the, it's a question in an exam, highlight the importance of text analytics in business. So most of you will start now wondering, going all around, but the answer is just this statement here. So you can say that by identifying trends and patterns, the text analytics, business can improve what? Things like customer satisfaction. For example, what they dislike and dislike about their products. They can detect issues, they can conduct market research, they can monitor brand reputations, among other things. So, but to help you answer such kind of a question, you remember there is something I told you about business. Like business is like a war. And I told you there are 5 strategic objectives of every business. So there's retaining suppliers or making the suppliers business easy. There's retaining customers. There was the substitutes, how to handle the substitutes. And there was the competitors, how do you handle the competitors, and so on. So there are about 5 of them. So you can use those kind of things to answer such question. Text analytics, of course, has many advantages such as scalability, meaning that you can handle very large volumes of data. In fact, they use it to handle what you call big data. So big data would be things like things that are having the 3 V's: volume, velocity, and also the variety. Now, there's a good example here of text analytics, how it's helping a company. Let's get to it. Example is here. And maybe this is an example you should also take it seriously because it's important you understand it so that you can also be able to apply it in other circumstances. Unless we don't apply it, if you don't understand it, then you cannot apply that knowledge to other analytics. So here they are saying that one of the most interesting applications of text analytics is business is customer feedback analysis. Customer feedback analysis. And this includes analyzing product and service reviews to see how your customers evaluate your company, processing the results of open-ended responses to customer surveys, or checking out what customers say about your brand or social media. So, like the example they're showing here, they're showing you analyzing product and service reviews. So how is our product selling? How is our service being taken by customers? So of course, to do that, you need to float some questionnaires at one time, isn't it? You need a questionnaire or a survey. And then you need to have, some of the questions might be straightforward, like, they have category data. Like, how do you like our services? Rate them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one you can get the numbers and you can add them easily and do the mathematics. But there are others that are open-ended. Like there's a question they like, please explain your reason. Like for example, you had said that I don't like your brand. So you're told if the answer was no, that you don't like the brand, please explain your reason. Now that explaining the reason is very tricky to analyze, isn't it? Because now you need to, like a human, to go and read and understand what that other human was writing. But the goal of analytics is to be able to read that writing, whatever, those strings that have been written by somebody, and be able to know exactly what was happening there. So one of the ways you can be able to understand, I know some of you are wondering how. You can do something like what you call um, topic analysis. Is there a topic that you keep on identifying? Is there a topic? Like, for example, you can say, we don't like Safaricom because they keep on dropping their calls, or the M-Pesa has got a lot of, delays or lost money or something. So if you see topics like lost money, delays, dropped calls, those are major topics that, as a person employed by Safaricom, you might be interested in. So these are real things we are talking about, and people go and do this work, and you'll be doing this very soon outside when you go. So let's see how you go about it. So here they have some data for what they are calling the NPS, open-ended responses, to find out which aspect of your business are being mentioned by customers. So this is like a topic, because we are talking of what customers are mentioning. So this is a topic analysis. So the first step would be involving running a topic analysis. A text analysis technique that automatically tags NPS is just a survey. So automatically tags the survey, the survey responses based on predefined categories. So you can have some predefined categories or predefined topics. So for example, you can have topics such as feature request or customer service. And here are a few. So you can say like this one, I wish you had an option to export that data, to export the data. So this is actually a topic on feature request. So somebody is requesting that they add an extra what? An extra feature or an extra option for exporting the data. Another one is customer here. Customer support is really friendly and effective. So this is about customer service. So you can always map these texts onto predefined categories. Predefined categories. But of course, you might not be able to know all the categories people are talking about. So there are some other things that we normally do. There's something we call the named entity extraction. I think we've heard about that. Named entity extractions. Now, what are named entities? Named entities are basically nouns that would represent a concept within the context you're describing. So within the topic you are describing, you can extract all those concepts that occur within that context, and you usually find them through noun phrases. So named entities are essentially just noun phrases. So you look for noun phrases that keep on occurring. Like now in this one, you'd have, I wish you had an option to export the data. So here you might say one of them is data. But now you can see this is from what we learned earlier today. We are describing the data. So we are saying export the data. So the whole of this export the data can be taken as one noun phrase, isn't it? Data is the main phrase, is the main noun, sorry. But export the data is a noun phrase. But you can even extend it and say option to export the data. Is that still part of that noun? Option to export the data, is it still part of that noun? It is, isn't it? Because it's still describing the data. So you can have topics like those ones: data, export the data, and then option to export the data. Then you can see each of those three is how they are recurring and how many sentences have been tagged onto that. Now here down, they have tagged the responses. So they have a tagger that can tag all that. And you can tag it using like the named entity. You can do it automatically or manually. So if you're in a less labor intensive countries like Kenya, where you don't have too much cost, you can employ some guys and you can tell them, okay, do the tagging. Guys are going to do it very beautifully, and they are going to do it, and is most likely going to be accurate. Of course, there has to be another level for checking. But then, if you don't want to use manual, you can also use automated methods. I've just mentioned one of them is named entity extractor. Named entity extractor. So these are tools that can extract for you automatically. And then, of course, once you extract like this one here, option to export the data, you can take the entire sentence into that one and so on. Now, once they have done that, so they have done it either manually or automatically, then they have now started creating the charts. So here it is. So once you've tagged the responses, you can use text analytics to uncover patterns and insights across the whole data set and create charts or reports to display the results. Below, you can see a graph that shows how recently, the word recently, should it be recently used text analytics to map frequent topics in NPS responses. So they're just showing here the topics. If you have yours, you can magnify, but let me try to make it larger for everybody to see. So on this side, I have product features. On this side, I have what? So response tags analysis. So this is what now? Let me make it smaller. Yeah, so the green are what you call the promoters. Yeah, so I have understood. So let's say you have the green, you have this orange, and you have this, what's color is this? Crimson? Let's call it pink for those who are colorblind. Pink at the end. So the product features 50 people were promoters, and 160, which is in between here, they are passive, so they're just neutral. And about 90 were detractors, so they are negative comments. Then you can now move to the next one. This is the product user interface. The product user interface, 220 they are promoters, 30 are passive, and 20 are detractors, and so on. So they have done a very nice kind of chart here. Customer support, integrations, pricing. So like 60 guys were saying the pricing are good. 10 were saying they're just passive, we don't know. So all that. So this has been done using the monkey survey tool. Monkey survey. So actually, this is this has been done using the monkey survey. One second, please. 1 second. 1 second. That so I was saying this has been done using the monkey survey, and you can also use the same. So the next thing is just describing what's up there. The chart shows the majority of the negative comments, blah blah blah. So they're just showing this. So if you are the manager, what could you have done? The product features, there are so many people who are passive, but there are also 90 guys who are not very good, happy with their product features. So many guys are also happy with their product user interface. So there's not much required here. But in terms of the features, you need to really work on it. So it helps you to understand what's happening with your business. So what we've just done there is a customer feedback analysis. Now, besides the customer feedback analysis, another exciting application of the analytics, text analytics, in business is customer service. So using text analytics to analyze the context of support tickets, for example, can help you understand your customers' needs, motivations, and expectations, and provide insights to rethink your customer experience strategy. So here they are just talking about customer service. So you are thinking more about, you're having a deep reflection of your customer service. Deep reflections of your customer service. Like, for example, here they are talking of, you can analyze the tickets. So I hope you know what are the tickets. Tickets. This is what, of course, customers book with if they want a service. So you analyze them, then you'll be able to understand the needs or their motivations for doing whatever they are buying. If it's a service, where are they coming to you for service? What's motivating them to come to you for service? And also the expectations. So, so that's the second one, customer experience strategy. So aside from support tickets, you can also use text analytics to get key insights from other customer support channels, such as emails. So you can also analyze emails, chats. Maybe I should do that to you as one of the exercises. I dump to you a very huge volume of emails. Then I tell you, please analyze this. Tell me what people are thinking. Yeah, so you can analyze all these emails, chats, social media, etc. Now, maybe I need to tell you a little bit so that you can see what we are talking about is very real. Now, when I finished my PhD, I applied for what you call a postdoctorate. That is where you go and do research. And I happened to, we did the interview, so many of us. So there was an international call in Europe. So that was in France. And there are so many people who are shortlisted. Then we were interviewed. And out of the so many, I think we are guys from South America, Ecuador, Chile, I don't know where, Cuba. So many guys, including China. I'm the one who was taken to that position. So I was shortlisted, then I was hired for that position. So when I was hired, I was located somewhere in France, Paris, somewhere south of Paris, somewhere called Saclay. And that's where our research lab was. And this lab, what they were doing is that they were trying to, at that time, there was a lot of terrorism going around, around the world. Europe was terrorized a lot. So they wanted to understand, what do people say in emails? What do they say when they want to come and bomb us? So when I landed there, the guy I was working with dumped, okay, they have a huge chunk of people's emails, which some of them are confidential and so on. But you are given a huge chunk of emails and chats and other social media texts. And you're told, now we have this, we want to analyze what people are thinking. We also want to know the actions they do prior to bombing, so that, or prior to doing a terrorism act, so that we can understand. Once we are able to what do you call it? to tap onto their emails. And once we are able to secretly tap onto their emails, we can understand we can understand their mind. So that time there was this thing called deep learning. It was the very time deep learning. So I was told the strategy we are going to use in this lab is deep learning, and that was all. So I was given the hip. I was told I use deep learning, and my work was to go and find out what's the best way of getting this. So the thing was that I had to read and read and read, have sleepless nights reading about these text analytics, reading about all these. So all these strategies I'm talking to you today, I was learning them there about these what we are covering up here. Named entity extraction. They were up somewhere anyway. We were doing them there. Then my work was now, of course, there are existing techniques, but now my work was how do we apply deep learning on these existing techniques, and that was my postdoctoral research. I published a few papers on that. You can look at them later. But you can see it's real work. It's being done by security agencies. It's being done by businesses and so on. All right, so back to class. I finished the story of my stay in France. Of course, I didn't tell you the language barrier was quite tough because those guys in the lab, they're just speaking French. But since it was an international lab, we also had several guys from other countries and we could communicate. And we were finally able to break through and come up with some very interesting algorithms that could be able to understand people's minds through what they're writing. All right, so okay, here is more of these charts. I hope you'll go through them slowly later. Yeah. So I don't know if you've skipped something here that's important. Let me just go back to see whether there's something important. No, here they're just doing a different type of a chart. Huh? So this is about like Safaricom and so on. So they have T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, and so on. And these are the negative comments. So they're the positive comments, they're the negative comments, and they're just analyzing them. Huh? So here they want you to use this tool called Mankelan. Mankelan, this one here. And there's a small exercise for you here you can do later. It's a very simple one anyway. They have used Mankelan to be able to do this, to run this text analytics. Huh? Because these guys are trying these guys are Monkey Survey. They have a tool called Mankelan, which you have to register. But I think it's free, and you can analyze your data. So first of all, you need to analyze the data you want to leverage with text analytics. And Mankelan offers different pre-trained machine learning models. So Mankelan offers different pre-trained machine learning models that you can use to perform text analysis right away. Check out this. So there's one that's called a sentiment analysis. Huh? I know all of you love this. Huh? Sentiment analysis model from Mankelan. So we just click on that link. Just if you go to the original website. The original website is here, https mankelan.com blog blah blah blah. So it's here. You can do that. You can download that model and you can run your sentiment analysis there. Sentiment analysis is just telling us whether people like it or not. So they are negative, they are positive, and maybe they are neutral. But they're saying here you can also build your own customized machine learning models for text classification and extraction. which is a great option if you need to recognize topics or keywords with a specific field. It's like I was telling you the story when we were in lab there. I was telling you, you can use a pre-existing model or tool, or you can create your own. So sometimes creating your own would be beautiful. So here are 5 steps to create your own. So you can create a custom model here by following these 5 steps. So of course they're assuming you've already downloaded the Monkeyland. You choose a type of model. So do you want a classifier or an extractor? So extractor, you know it now is like the named entity extractor, the one that can give you the noun phrases, or a classifier that for you classification, or even so classification is for pre-existing classes. I'm not sure whether they have a clustering model, but they ought to have a clustering model. Then they are saying here you can import your data and you can use your Excel or CSV. Then you define the tags, and then you train your model, and finally using your trained model to analyze the new data. So it's a very simple thing there. Just download the model and do the necessary. You can also use some other business intelligence tools, like the one we're using in class the other time. So you can use things like, so once you've completed your text analysis, you can create data visualization of the results. So business intelligence tools like Google Data Studio. Now, I've not tried this. Maybe you should try out this Google Data Studio. Another called Looker and Tableau. Among others, you guys, you have BI, Power BI, can help you create attractive and interactive reports and charts to communicate the main insights of your data. And so these are like a Power BI thing, so it's nothing new here. And then they have given the final words here that text analytics allows companies to find meaningful information across a variety of data sources, from customer support tickets to social media interactions. And by aggregating the results of text analysis and using business intelligence tools to turn the numbers into easy to understand reports and graphics, text analytics can identify patterns, trends, and actionable insights that you can use to make data-driven decisions. I hope you understand that paragraph very, very well. The second paragraph, that you can aggregate results from what? From text analysis, you know, like semantic analysis and so on. And other BI tools like what you've seen up there, the open BI and so on. So you can understand your information easily. But if you want to get the actionable information, so then you come here and say text analytics can identify patterns, trends, and actionable insights. So that's very important. You need to distinguish that. Of course, once you analyze the customer feedback, or you examine things like the tickets, then you can leverage these results on the analytics itself. In other words, you can use the two results together. From the analysis and now on the analytics to detect opportunities for improvement. So they're saying getting started with the text analysis can be quite simple. There are many online tools that you can use to perform text analysis and visualize the results. Ready to take your first steps? Sign up for free the Monkeyland and start analyzing your data today. So you can also try Monkeyland. to help us with these. But the only trouble with Monkland is that it is very good at the analysis bit, but the analytics, it's not that strong, but maybe you can also try it. So that was a beginner's guide. Beginner's guide. So any question from the beginner's guide? Let me scroll through. We've just seen how you can, how these things are being happening in the company with some examples. Now let's look at a more concrete thing here. And of course, we've been talking of tech. At one point, we said we need to convert. We need to convert what? Your sentences into what do you call it? Into vectors. You need to convert your text into vectors. So there are many ways, and we have our main document here. I don't know whether I want to get to this before I get to another one. Yeah, maybe I can get to this because this is more of theory. I'll maybe get to go to others later, but let's look at theory. Or before I get to the theory, maybe that will confuse a number of you. Let me go to topic analysis and see what it is. You know, this TF-IDF, these are all parts of converting the text into some vectors. Again, this is from Mankelan. Also easy to understand. And the example you have here is, and you notice that one of the most important topics you have is automatic topics detection. Okay, topics detection. And we are saying here that topic analysis is an NLP technique that allows us to automatically extract meaning from text by identifying recurrent themes or topics. So what are these recurring themes or topics? So we want to try this thing of automatically detecting topics in text. So businesses deal with the large volumes of structured data every day, like email, support tickets, social media posts, online reviews, etc. And when it comes to analyzing huge amounts of text data, it's just too big a task to do manually. It's tedious, time-consuming, expensive. Manually sorting through large amounts of data is more likely to lead to mistakes and inconsistencies. Plus, it doesn't score very well. This is now where we are talking about manual. Remember, I talked about this earlier on, where we had either you tag your data manually or you try to do it automatically. So this topic, this particular guide is about topic analysis, its application, and how to get started with no-code tools. So here you don't do any codes. You just click on things and things happen. The topics that you'll find here are things like topic analysis, what it is, the scope of topic analysis, when is topic analysis used, why is topic analysis important, and topic analysis examples. Then I will go to the how do you do it. So how does it work, first of all? You can go through what you call topic modeling or topic classification. Then topic analysis, use cases, and applications. So these are just applications. and the resources. So let's we should just scan through because this you can read. What is topic analysis? Some guys we also like calling it topic detection. Others who love to look more technical, they call it topic modeling. And others call it topic extraction. I don't know which one you prefer. Topic analysis, topic detection, topic modeling, topic extraction. But they all mean the same thing. We are trying to look for the major themes or the major topics. So it's actually a machine learning technique that organizes and understands larger collections of data by assigning tags or categories according to each individual text topics or themes. And topic analysis uses NLP to break down human language so that you can find patterns and unlock semantic structures within text and to extract insights and help make data-driven decisions. Now here is a mouthful of things here. That it uses NLP to break down human language so that you can find the patterns. So patterns we have already seen what they are. But also there's something here called semantic structures. Now remember at the beginning of this class, I told you part of NLP is to understand the meaning. To understand the meaning. So the meaning could be within the context or just direct meanings. Like when you say, John loves Mary. So the meaning is very direct. Love is what unites the two. And you can encode that one that way. So the two most common approaches for topic modeling, I love calling it modeling, with the machine learning is topic modeling and topic classification. So really, topic modeling is an unsupervised machine learning technique. And this means that it can infer patterns, it can infer patterns and cluster similar expressions without a need for defined topic tags or training data beforehand. And this type of algorithm can be applied quickly and easily, but there is a downside that they are rather inaccurate. So basically, you're saying there are two main approaches. You can have predefined topics, or you can have this other one you just described here. This is a topic modeling, which is basically a clustering method. The classification, of course, means that you have predefined topics that you want to meet to have your text being mapped onto. Now, topic analysis can be applied at different levels. So topic analysis can be done at different levels. Where is this cursor of mine? You can do it at the document level, the sentence level, and at the sub-sentence level. So this is the level at which you can apply your topic analysis. So the document level, the topic model obtains the different topics from within a complete text. For example, the topics of email or a news article. So you're saying, what is this email talking about? Now, when you go to the sentence level, this is now more fine. And the topic model obtains the topic of a single sentence. For example, the topic of a news article headline. Then the sub-sentence level, of course, the topic model obtains the topic of the sub-expression, like the phrase, from within a sentence. So this is a phrase level kind of topic analysis. I hope you understand that you can apply it at different levels. At the document level, we want to understand the document. At the sentence level, we want to understand the sentence, and the sub-sentence level, we want to understand the various phrases. Now, of course, you can apply it when you have huge volumes of data. And if you are to target manually, it's very expensive to do it. So you want to use these automated methods. Here they are advertising themselves that at Manclan we help companies use topic analysis. Now here is how they're using it. That imagine you need to analyze a large data set of reviews to find out what people are saying about your product, and you could combine topic labeling with sentiment analysis. So notice here there are two things there. There's topic labeling. So you label each and every sentence or document with a topic, and then you apply sentiment analysis to discover which aspects or topics of your products are being discussed most often, and determine how people feel about them. So besides brand monitoring, there are many other uses for topic analysis, such as social media monitoring. Like I was trying to do in my experience, I told you we are monitoring emails and other social media texts. We also have customer service. We have voice of customer analysis, business intelligence, sales and marketing, SEO, product analysis, and knowledge management. Yeah, so the benefits, you can do it. Of course, we had said you can do this at a large scale. You can also do it at a real time. We've done this with one of the students who, for what you call hate speech analysis. Is a topic that I supervise a student to do, and we developed some tools that can do this. Hate speech, and this was a real-time thing. So real-time analysis. There's a consistency criteria, etc. Here they're giving you a lot of examples here. So topic labeling is used to identify topic of a news headline. What is the news article here, for example? Is it politics, sports, economy? So these are the labels you can have. So like this one, iPhone sales drop 20% in China as Huawei gains market share. So is that politics? Is it sports, or is it economy? Of course, you can tell this is about the economy, and we want to be able to use machine learning to be able to know this. Now, how does it work? Topic analysis models are able to detect topics in a text with advanced machine learning. So they're just repeating that. So let's imagine you want to find out what customers are saying about various features of a new laptop. Your topics of interest might be portability, design, or price, for example, of your laptop. Now, instead of going through rows and rows of customer feedback with a fine-tooth comb, in an attempt to separate feedback into topics of interest, you'll be able to run topic analysis. So we are going to do it here down. Now let's imagine you don't have a list of predetermined topics. So topic analysis models can also detect topics by counting word frequency Now notice this is now you start now going into the science. You're just talking about the systems. Now you're talking about the science itself. So by detecting what topics, by counting word frequency. So this is one of the techniques we are going to use. Maybe you shall learn it next week. So in this one, it's a frequency counter. Another one is by counting the distance or looking at the distance between two words. And there are many ways of calculating the distance between two words. So we shall learn that next week. Here they're just talking about topic modeling versus topic classification. So if you have just a bunch of text and want to figure out what topics this text cover, what we are looking for is topic modeling. Now, if you already know the possible topics for your texts and you want to automatically tag them with the relevant topic, you want topic classification. So you can go for classification if you already know what the topics you are looking for. Of course, here there is unsupervised method. These guys are just repeating unsupervised methods and so on. They're giving the advantages of supervised over unsupervised. Now we don't have to go through that. Let me see what's down here. It's a long thing, so we will skip a few things. Okay. Okay, now, of course, you have said that you need this text from emails and so on. And the way, then you apply the algorithms. So the way these algorithms work is by assuming that each document is composed of a mixture of topics, and then trying to find out how strong a presence of each topic. So I think I've skipped something here. No, they're just explaining anyway. Yeah, so you assume that all these topics are there. And then you do the grouping or the classifications based on the words they contain. And you also try to notice the correlation between them. So although similar topic models shouldn't be confused with cluster analysis. So to better understand these ideas behind the topic modeling, we will cover the basics of two of the most popular algorithms. That is the latent semantic analysis and the latent, this D stands for Dirichlet. Latent Dirichlet, and this is latent semantic. So, those who love maths, you love this one, latent semantic analysis. Now, are you guys familiar with bias, naive bias? Are you familiar with it? Anyone familiar with the naive bias? Maybe not. But of course, naive bias uses what we call probabilities, and this what do you call them? Where you say this occurs, having seen this, what's the probability of this one occurring? The independent and so on. So conditional probabilities, as we call them, conditional probabilities. So it also uses conditional probabilities. The general idea is that for every word in each document, you can count the frequency of that word and group together the documents that have high frequencies of the same word. Now, to dive a little bit more into how this is actually done, let's first clarify what is meant by frequency. Of course, the frequency of a word in a document is the number that indicates how often a word appears in a document. It's a simple count. And that's right. These algorithms ignore syntax and semantics, such as word order, the meaning, the grammar, and just treat every document as unsorted bag of words. Now, this a word that has been introduced, bag of words. It just means you take a document, break it down, and probably should also stem it. You know, remember I told you a word is made up of a root. So you form into roots. So like now if I have got this paragraph here, now to dive into this blah, blah, this paragraph. So there's a way you would have to break down each of these words into the root. But you don't have to worry because there are algorithms that do that. Like there's one called what? Have I started forgetting these things? No, you can even Google here quickly. This is stemming algorithms or stemming tools. Stemming tools. Now my laptop here is saying we go for lunch. Yeah, they're here in Python. Oh, what happened? It was just a list. My laptop is getting tired now. Yeah, so in Python there is the Loving stemma, developed in 1968, the Dawson stemma, the Crowbed stemma, the Xerox stemma, the Ngram stemma, the Snowball stemma. So there are so many of these stemmas. And you can look for their functions. If you're interested, for example, with Xerox or Dawson or Ngram, you just look for the function and embed it in your work. And here, this is an example of how stemming will occur. The words programmer, programming, programs, they will all be reduced to the word program. So that's stemming. Right. So you can use a stemmer. Then you, of course, you put all. Another thing I should have mentioned is also that you should remove all what you call plumb words. Plumb words means the common English words like is, at, in, all these. In, that, right, this. I don't know. Ignore could also be there. Such as. These are common English words, so you remove them. And you only have a bag of words that are not the common ones, English words, and they're already stemmed. Then you count the simple frequencies. Once now you get the frequencies, you can now start developing your LDA or the LSA here. So I'll not get into the details of this algorithm. Maybe you can do it next time when you're a bit more fresh. Otherwise, this is part of the algorithms I had promised I'll give you in details. I didn't want to get people starting getting bogged, but you look at, you count them, okay? You can use SVD, singular. SVD stands for what? This is a decomposition, singular value decomposition. I think that's what it means. Singular value decomposition. It's in maths. We don't have to get to the maths this afternoon. You'll get bored. But in other words, you create a vector like this one of the occurrences. You can see it's here. So you create from these tables, you can see you create a matrix, which we call a document topic matrix. Or you can create a topic, a term topic matrix. I hope you understand this. So with the frequencies, you can create a document topic or a topic matrix. We shall cover this more next when we are doing the theory again. But for now, I just want to introduce it. That once you create now the document topic matrix, so it's a matrix, which can be made of the document topic or the terms and the topics. Then you apply what we call the singular decomposition, the SVD, singular value decomposition. And now the resulting vector becomes, I think there are three vectors that results. Usually there's the S, there's the V, and there's the U. And here they say the idea is that the most important topics are selected. And U is the document topic matrix, and V is the term topic matrix. Now, you don't understand that unless you understand what is SVD. So I'm begging you, you go and read this SVD, what it says in maths. You can just Google what is SVD, see how things are decomposed into vectors, how the U, the S, and the V matrices are formed. So that by next time when we are talking of this term matrix and so on, we will be more comfortable with this. So you don't understand this without understanding the SVD. And we don't have time now to go into the details. But you can form this SVD. Then you can also improve it onto the LDA, which again, you can be improved there. So I think we'll get there, because if I go more, you'll get more bored. But please go on and read this document. Go ahead and read this document before we meet next time, so that you are more conversant with it. Let me open for you. So this is a monkland.com topic, monkland.com topic analysis. So monkeyland.com topic I don't know, they'll be able to open that page. Yeah, this one here. So this is where I got this stuff from. Just want you to go and read more about this. So here it is. We will deal with this more next time when we are meeting. Let me send you. Yeah, so you can open the link I've just sent you. Now I see there are some questions here. Maybe because I was presenting, I didn't see them. Rama had given us the document, I think, to sign or something. Aduma sent something here. A camouflage shelter used to observe wild rabbit. I don't know what was that. So somebody's asking, is there a voice analytics? That's also used in security. Say NIS to analyze phone conversation for keywords such as terrorism, bomb itself. The answer is yes. So if you speak on your phone, these guys can tap your thing, and what they do is that they have ways of converting speech into text. SCT, speech to text. So once you move from speech, you go to text. So once you have text, of course, their systems are very accurate, and most likely they'll translate the word, I mean the voice you've spoken into text very accurately, and then you can just run now. These are the algorithms that you are learning today. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. But they do. All right. So I think we'll get there. Please open the topic that I've given you there. Let me make sure it's opening right. There it is. Because what I intend us to do next time is now that we have understood the whole concept of this analytics and analysis, we now want to get into, for example, how the text, like what you're seeing here, how can you convert it into vectors? And then secondly, how do you apply machine learning onto those vectors to be able to extract whatever you want to extract? So that will be the topic for next class. So we'll stop there. So unless there are questions, yeah. So are there questions? Is everything well understood? Yes. Somebody says yes. Muharis says yes. Ojambo says yes. So if everything is well understood, then I hope I've enticed you. Otieno and Nyama also says yes. I hope I've also enticed you to be able to go further and read. Then we will be able to see what we can do tomorrow. So tomorrow, I intend that we continue the practicals so that we are not cut off by the deadline. Now, the other announcement I wanted to make is that for those, the 20 guys or so who are not able to submit, I'll be opening the portal. Maybe today evening or tomorrow. Let's say in the course of today, I'll open it today. Then I'll give it precisely 24 hours. So if you do not have presented your work within 24 hours, please forget about it. So inform all those guys who did not present their work. So those who did not submit their work, so please do inform them that I'll be opening the portal for 24 hours. Of course, there will be some deduction of marks a little bit because you did not do it with others. So you must pay something. It cannot be that you sleep and then you wake up and then you earn the same marks. The people who did not do it, you know yourselves. Yeah, there are 20 of you. There is some of you might not have registered, by the way, so it's not entirely 20. It could be less. There is Adungo, Geoff Gregory. Amina Wanjiro should be in this class. I know her. She did not submit her work. Asiema Ian Alpha, Bikuri Adrian, and my good class rep Hashim Rahma. I'll be opening that portal, please. Felista Njeri Kamau, Kimani Andrew Kamau, Maina Ian Muirore, you did not submit your work. John Mandela, Benfes Muchendu, Muhaji Aiman, Mwadegu Shuma, Nesta Mwangi, Ongere, Bruce Mogambi, Jeremy Osundwa, and Ferino Tieno. But how comes Ferin you have two attachments and you have missing you have missing marks? Ferin, you'll explain to me that. Eh? Seems you submitted, but you unsubmitted. Then you have Otieno Stephen Otieno, Vekaria Hashni, and Waudo Siganga, Zainab Duane. So all those guys are mentioned. Please, I'll be opening it. Maybe today. I don't know what time you'll be free, you guys. When are you free? Or can I open it as early as 2 p.m.? So that by 2 p.m. tomorrow we close? I'll do that.
Yes.
All right, so thank you.
Yes,
Is that
2
okay?
p.m. today.
Yes, I'll open 2 p.m. today so that I close by 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Perfect.
Very good. So I'm beseeching you, those guys who have not submitted, it will be a fail mark. Just you'll be failing just carelessly. So make sure you submit. All right, so let's stop there. So thank you very much. Thank you.